Well, monarch butterflies, I did not realize even lived in the area of Pennsylvania in which I live. I didn't know that they were around until I planted this remarkable plant called Asclepia. And that is where monarch butterflies will lay their eggs. It's also referred to as milkweed, but we're calling it butterfly weed. And this is from our friends at Cottage Farms. It's brand new today, the only order of the season. You're getting 3 big perennial plants. Now they're going to start in small pots, but these will grow to be your butterfly garden, and you'll have them for decades. Here's the crazy thing. If you've never seen a monarch butterfly in your own backyard, when you plant these 3 plants, I don't know how the word gets out, but they will not only come to this plant to feed, it's the only plant where monarch butterflies lay their eggs. Are you ready to start the show? I get to introduce you to a friend. She has forgotten more about plants than I will ever learn. Katie Dubow is with us from the greenhouses of Cottage Farms. You look like spring. I look like a lemon. You look like spring. How you doing?
I'm wonderful, Dan. So good to see you. And I'm so excited to bring you this plant. I know how passionate you are about pollinators. We have some great pollinator plants in the show. And I am so excited to tell you about all of what we've got today. It's going to be fun.
Well, these are butterfly bushes. So all butterflies will come, and this soft green will turn into these gorgeous orange flowers, and you get lots of them. That becomes food for any pollinator. So it'll be your hummingbirds, your butterflies, it'll be your bee pollinators will find this plant. But again, this is the only plant that monarch butterflies make their home out of to lay their eggs. So if we don't have these plants, you're endangering the population of monarch butterflies.
That's right. I think that that's really important because, firstly, all your butterflies and your pollinators will enjoy the nectar from these plants, but it is the leaves that our monarch butterflies will eat so they can raise their young. And as we all know, we won't extend the population season after season. They need food, they need shelter, which our plants provide for them as well, but then they also need that place to hatch their caterpillars so they can grow up to be more beautiful monarch butterflies. So this is probably the most important plant, Dan, that you can have in your pollinator garden. And we're lucky that it's beautiful too. It has that bright flowers. These will burst forth in summer just in time, like you said. It's all perfectly timed by Mother Nature. You don't need to worry about when to do it, but just when the monarchs need to lay their eggs is when these plants will be blooming, is just when they need the food. It's all perfectly timed. What you need to do is plant them in a full sun spot because that's what they love, and think about the space that you need for them. They get to be about 2 feet tall by about 20 inches wide. So that's the kind of space that you're going to need when you're thinking about where to put your butterfly weed.
I have my Asclepia in the pool area and right in the corner of our small pool yard. And I can see it from my deck. I told you I'm totally obsessed by this. There are websites out there that you can track monarch butterflies and these little tiny things that float around your yard and you go, oh, they're pretty. You have no idea how much they travel. They winter in middle Mexico. So we're talking about a 3,000-mile flight for these tiny little papered winged creatures to fly from Mexico up the East Coast and up the West Coast. There are websites that you can actually track that, and they have already left middle Mexico to start their parade, if you will, back up here to the Northeast. I won't see them until end of May, but they come to my yard. And they do only because I planted this type of butterfly bush 3 years ago. Katie, it's hard to plant things like this and see the cause and effect of nature and not to think of a higher power being out there, because I have no idea how the monarchs know to look for it now in my yard, but they'll be there. That's why I
I
urge
know.
people to plant, because it's so cool to see. It really is
It is so
enjoyable.
cool. And one of the things, I mean, you may know out there that red is a big hummingbird attractant color. So when we plant these bright colors in our garden, reds and oranges and bright yellows, that is what gives them that signal, that text message that come to this garden, especially if you're thinking about where to plant these in your garden and you want to do it for pollinators. plant them together because
Yep.
the signal, it's that runway airplane guy standing there saying, come down here. And so when you're planting them in mass, maybe you might want to pick up a few because, Dan, these are very popular plants. People in the plant world know they are the sole host plant for Monarch. So everybody wants them. They get snatched up. They're the first thing in the garden center's pollinator department to get snatched up.
Agreed.
So I love that we can bring these to you so you can reserve them now to make sure that you're doing your part in your backyard. You're planting for the pollinators, but you're also planting for you. You get the beautiful color all summer long. Plus, these seed heads, these flowers will turn into seed heads in the fall, and they'll be pretty in the fall and in the winter as well. It'd be nice interest in your garden for 4 seasons.
Yeah, again, everything that we've got, and these are brand new today. People here on Q2, they're seeing them first. We brought in 2,000 pieces. That's all we could get. So now we're down to less than 1,900. Keep something else in mind. These will ship to you at the appropriate time. They are perennials. So when you dig your little hole and plant, you want to plant them a couple feet apart from one another because they're going to grow. The age of the plants in front of you, Katie, that's what we can anticipate by late summer, can't we?
Absolutely. Yes, this is season 1. And you mentioned that they are perennials, which just means they get better with age, like many things. So they'll get better year after year. But this, size of flower, they'll get that 2 feet tall. You'll get flowers. Absolutely, we'll get flowers this year.
They're gorgeous. And again, it's cause and effect. What you plant in your yard not only will bring you joy visually, but it will also help to build Mother Nature. Katie's a master gardener. I am not. I'm a farmer. I live on a working farm. I know that without pollinators, like the bees and the hummingbirds and butterflies, we have nothing that grows. Some things are pollinated by the wind, like corn, but most things that we eat are pollinated by flying creatures. So do this for yourself, do it for your planet, and they'll come back every year, but what we have is all we can get. And I will also say this, it's Cottage Farms, so you know it's the very best of quality. You know that it is the premier plant. Some people call it milkweed, some people call it asclepia. We're now calling it butterfly weed. I like that. We've got more coming your way. All right, coming up a little bit later.